Hello, I am Mystic Orange and this is a video hashtag 573. In this video, I'll be reviewing Winx Club Season 4 Episode 1. It's a pilot of the Season 4. Before we get into this video, make sure to like, share and subscribe. And make sure to check out my previous videos. I started a Winx Club series called Winx Club Rewrite, where I rewrite about the entire Winx Club from the first season all the way to season 8. Also, I want to keep it in note that I'll be focusing mostly on Winx Club, Scooby-Doo, and 16. That will always going to be normal, However, I'm going to change my approach how I review the future cartoons. Anyway, since we got that covered, let's get in with this video. Anyway, let's get into talking about this episode. It's important to note that, like, for me, after season 3, the seasons afterwards, I feel like they drop in quality. In my opinion, the seasons where Focus didn't touch, it just doesn't hit the same. And in my opinion, although I think season 4 and 5 are probably like good, they just don't have the quality of the first 3 seasons. But I think they're decent enough to like. But you'll notice. Like, I think I will have a little bit more problems with these seasons. I can imagine myself sounding more nitpicky in these seasons. So the first thing we have for this episode is the theme song of season 4. For me, in my opinion, like, I don't think any theme song can be the Focus theme song. For my personal opinion, anyway. Like, I think season 4. I mean, Focus. It just. It will always be number one for me, and it's very memorable. Season 4 can never top it. None of the theme song can top it. However, I think this theme song is kind of better than the theme songs I've listened to, like from Nickelodeon and Ray. Like the first and to the third season, they're good, but I think season 4 is kind of better. I think it's probably the nostalgia putting in my opinion on it. I don't know, when I'm listening to the season 4 theme song, I feel gushy. I feel like it brings back memories for me. So the title of this episode is called The Fairy Hunters. I guess we're introduced to the Wizard of the Black Circle in this episode. And in the first part of the scene, the Winx Club are shown to be made as celebrities. As you know, the girls in Althea are like praising them like fans. I mean, I guess they deserve it. Like, we just like this followed after the Winx Club movie, Secret of the Lost Kingdom, and Bloom and the Winx, they managed to like free people of Domino from Obsidian. Do they deserve this celebrity status? Probably, but do I like this? Not really. I feel like this scene is kind of a bit annoying. Of like having the girls of Althea like praise the Winx like this. It's like it's. I feel like an allegory for real life. Like, these uh, these Althea girls are really the audience, and I guess it's a cute way to show, like, fans adoring the Winx, but I don't know, it just feels a bit weird. Even Amaryl wants a signature from Bloom, which I don't think she would do. Like, Amaryl is the one that kind of hates the Winx. Like, remember in season 1 where she like picked on the girls in the nature episode, and also in season 2, she basically attacked Stella with an energy ball. I mean, you can understand like Amaryl hatred towards the Winx because they think they're all that. They whenever the Winx breaks the rules, like it always affects the other girls. So like, I can understand why if you're a student in Althea, you probably would hate the Winx. I think Lola mentioned it in her podcast, and I think Unicorn of War probably mentioned it. Yeah, like could you imagine being a friend like same year as the Winx? You probably hate them for all that. Like they get to go on missions to like Enchantrix missions, but they get to be left behind. Yeah. So would the girls praise them like fans, or would they be hating them for doing better than them? For the next part of the scene, I have so many things to talk about. First of all, we see Griselda. Hi, Griselda. So the Winx, they are told that they are now no longer students. They graduated in the movie. Um, they are they are taken to their rooms, and they are now teachers apparently, and they bust into their old dorm rooms and they think it's theirs, but it's not. It's the new students. That's their new dorms, and apparently the wings is their rooms in the teacher wing. And there's so many things I want to unpack here. The first thing I want to point out is the puppet animation. Like Layla and the other girls, when they run up the stairs, it doesn't look good. It looks really janky. It doesn't feel natural whenever they're moving. Like they run past Griselda. Griselda almost falls over. That part I did find funny. Griselda's face was the most funny part of this. But the puppet animation is just hideous. So the Brinks, they graduated, they no longer are students. But I think, I don't like that they are stuck to Althea. If they are no longer students, why don't they like have a home somewhere in Magix? Like maybe Faragonda can find a house somewhere in Magix so they can stay there. Like if they're no longer students, they don't need to go back to Alfie all the time. It seems like the Winx are glued to the school. And I also kind of hate the idea that the Winx are teachers now. Like, I never liked this for My Little Pony, and I don't like it for Winx Club either. Like, these girls have individual lives. Why are they made to be teachers? Like, Stella has a fashion career, Flora's into plants and botany, Misa has a music career she needs to be into. And this is how I feel about My Little Pony as well. Like, some of these characters have busy lives. Like, Applejack has a whole farm to run. Rarity has whole like range of boutiques across the country, and they are made to be teachers. Like, they got lives to do. It just feels a bit fanficky. Like this is something that I would have come up with. Like if the fans were coming up with this, I wouldn't have I would not mind that. The fact that this show does it is just it doesn't fit Wings Club. I would have appreciated if fans made like their own version of this, like the students, like the Winx girls being teachers. This is something that I would appreciate the fans doing. I would not appreciate the show proper doing this. It just doesn't fit the flow of like the story. Anyway, the Winx are sent to Fargonda's office. And it appears that Fargonda is the one who invited the Winx to temporarily teach the students. Well, I hope it's temporary. Like, could you imagine when you graduate at school and your teacher tells you to teach a class for them? I mean, the school does need more teachers. Anyway, Farragut hands out some merch. It's some like gold wings of the Enchantrix wings. Not gonna lie, they look so cute and pretty. But let's be honest, those things are for merch. Farragut says it's the key to the heart of Althea. It's another dream that Althea has. There's this running joke about, the Winx fandom where, like, they'll mention how, like, Althea becomes like Althea Mall in later seasons, and we get introduced to new rooms in the school. Like, you think the school is small from the outside, but when you're inside the school, you find out there's so many rooms in the school. So, Farragut explains about the heart of Althea. Honestly, it doesn't make sense to me. It will never make sense to me. Apparently, according to Fargonda, it's like a museum. So why not just have a museum? And apparently, it's behind this mirror. We've seen footages of like the mirror that Fargonda has in her office. Like we've seen it in throughout season 1 to season 3. And you're telling me behind that mirror was some a whole giant room. Anyway, she explains like Enchantix. I think in my idea, I think Enchantix is like what you need to gain other transformations, and it's I would consider it as a powerful transformation, and that's what I think. That's the idea. And Farragonda talks about Believix being a higher level transformation to Enchantix. Or maybe Enchantrix is the powerful one, or Believix is the one that has the more transformations. Because we do get other transformations with Believix, like Soulfix and Lovix and other ones. Also, why do we have pictures of villains from Winx Club? This feels so random to have in the school. You see when I mean like this episode feels fanficky. Like of course, why wouldn't they have a gallery of villains? We never get to see this place again. So like, what will happen in the future seasons? Like when we get Tritanus and other villains. And we get these villains like they've always existed. Trix, Lodaka, Valtor, and Wizard of the Black Circle. They existed through history, and that could explain why they have portraits. But what about villains that are newly existed, like Tritanus? Like he becomes a villain in season 5. Like he didn't. He just became a villain. He didn't exist before, so like, how do they explain the portraits? And who makes these paintings? Does it? Who commissioned these? In the next part of the scene, the girls, are stressed out about the teaching the students, so they hang out outside the classroom. And to get their mind off that, Techno presents a gadget that creates a hologram of their boyfriends. I think this is a cool gadget idea. You can even feel their bodies when you touch them. I like the scene where like Stella poked Brandon in the eye. That was funny. Sky doesn't seem to be part of the group because he's busy doing his kingly duties in Raklion. But Timmy does conference Sky in to have a chat with Bloom. He was talking about all the boring stuff. I didn't pay attention to listen. Honestly, I miss the Fox's dub. The voices are much more fun. But in the end, like Griselda comes in to because the class are waiting. They don't want to be late, and then Griselda takes over Sky's face in the hologram. It was funny. But wouldn't it hurt Sky though? Because Stella poked Brandon in the eye, so wouldn't Sky not get hurt from Griselda? Funny scene though. So in the next part of the scene, the Winx start teaching the class. Um, Taylor comes up with the word Winxology. I thought that was clever. So each of the wings start teaching the class in their own way. I think Bloom, Flora, Stella, and Misa, their part of the class was like, it was interesting, but I didn't think it was that interesting. Like, Bloom shows a dragon. Flora's one, actually, I don't mind. She just busted some petals, but Clarice didn't like that. Uh, Misa put some music on, and I think Stella, I don't know what she did. She probably made some like yellow orange balls out of her hand. It's pretty weird. However, I think I like Tekna and Layla's part of this class because I think they actually explain what they do. Well, Tekna part I thought was cool. Like she does like put like a computer thing. I don't know what it is, but she does that. I thought that was cool. But I caught Clarice making a drawing out of Tekna, although I thought it was funny. But girl, don't do that. Like Clarice is being a brat in the class. Also, I did like Layla's part of this presentation because I think Tina explains like how physical education is important in like when it comes to magic class. I guess it's important in any wherever you go. Like if you're from Earth or magics, physical education is important. It's a shame they don't like explore this in Wings Club though. Like, the main subjects they have is like potionology, which is what Palladium does, but also like incantation spells. He took us to the nature resort thing, and he did that simulator thing. So I feel like Palladium has like odd number of classes. Whiskers just does like thingy metamorphosis, and sometimes Griselda and Farragonda like have a class. I've not seen anything else. Apparently, Professor Dufour, the red one, she used to do music, but it's never shown in the show. Apparently, there's a comic of that, but to me, that's not canon to me. Like, I've never read the comics, I never will. If you're into the comics, good for you, but I don't think it's canon, in my opinion. So yeah, I feel like when it comes to the education of Althea and other like Red Fountain or Cloud Tower, I would appreciate a bit more like a bit more staff, bit more exploration in the subjects. That would be interesting. I know Clarice is bratty, but I like the design of her. I know the fairies too in the classroom. They have a really nice design. And they make it seem like these characters are new, but I'm pretty sure I've seen some of these characters in the movies and in previous seasons. In the next part of the scene, the Winx are setting up an obstacle course. While that's happening, we get to see the background fairies interaction between them. I think it's cool that we get a look at these background fairies. It would be appreciated if we saw them in like season one, two, three. I think we do in the Cinelume dub, but in Focus, like there are times when they did have like the background fairies, but they did cut those parts out. I think Focus could have replicated their way of distributing the background fairies. Anyway, I kind of like. Kind of half agree with what Clarice is saying. She doesn't, and this is what I said about Amaryl. I think Clarice is what Amaryl would have done. Like she doesn't like the Winks. They in Clarice's mind, uh, the wigs on special, they act like they're all that, well, which isn't like half true. Like, um, they they had a celebrity status for a reason because they have enchantix and they have had like missions to become like guardian fairies. So there is a reason why the Winx are so special. However, I can understand why like someone like Clarice would find that irritating. I don't feel like it's an act of jealousy either. I just think like uh, it feels like Clarice in her eyes. It seems like the Winx are boasting about themselves, which it's kind of true though. While I agree with this, I don't agree with what she is doing in this scenario. I think she had like a bomb thing, and she places it like she throws out one of the obstacle equipments, and that will cause a problem. And one thing I don't agree with is like she puts that box in her friend's bag. That's not what you do as a friend. So I don't agree with that. You can have your opinion, but you don't get to be a villain. For the obstacle course, Bloom, Layla, and Flora take part in it, and Bloom is the first person to go. Of course, she does well, but she has her dramatic moment where she's like, "Oh, she can't get through the fiery wheel thing," and everyone's like, "Oh, she can't do it." Oh, they're all scared of this. It's kind of hilarious, but this is Bloom. This is fire. Like she can do this. Also, like she can always absorb fire, so they made this dramatic for no reason, but yeah, she went through, she pulled it through. Good on Bloom. Layla is next to be up in the obstacle course. For her bit, she uses a morphic surfboard. I love it when Layla uses a morphic surfboard. And she impresses the audience by being fast. Great job, Layla. For Flora's bit, she makes everyone look good. Um, she says that it's not all about winning; it's about making everyone look good. So for her bit, she she turns the fire into flowers, and it looks really pretty. I mean, you got to give it to Flora too for making everything pretty with her flowers. But terrible things happen. Clarice sets off her bomb and it makes it explode. Flora gets hurt by it. Anyway, the Wiz were able to find out who set the bomb, but they got the wrong person. They thought it was Alice. Because, Clarice framed Alice. I do love it when Tekna is the bad cop. She did it with Avalon and she did it with Naboo in season 3, and she does it with Clarice Alice here. Anyway, without any solid proof, Alice gets expelled for this. I do think it's a bit harsh on her. Why is she getting expelled? Like, in season 2, Amaryl blasted Stella's face and she never got expelled. And she said she didn't do it. So, why are they expelling Alice without any solid evidence? In the next part of the scene, Flora tried to look for Alice. She wants to know why Alice did it, even though it wasn't her. However, she bumps into the Wizard of the Black Circle. They appear out of the sky from nowhere. It's not explained why they are here or how they got here or why they are looking for Bloom, because they're looking for Bloom. But they are all awesome. They're so cool. I was always obsessed with them. I always had canon like the Wizard of Black Circle were linked with Valtor. Like Valtor was defeated, and the Wizard of the Black Circle they came here for revenge. Like maybe they are like related with each other. That's what I like to think. Maybe this is what I would have added in the story. They look so cool anyway. Like I feel like they all have distinctive personality, and I like that they come in force because I don't know why, but I kind of like relate these characters to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like I have no explanation for this. And I feel like in my head canon, like I assign a different personalities with them. Like Ogron is the oldest brother. He's like Leonardo. He's the leader. I feel like he's that sort of archetype. You know, Madagascar, the penguins. You know the leader one. This is the one I kind of associate with him. And Gantlos is like Raphael of the group. He's like, he's a grumpy one. And I always associate like Anagan as the chill, laid back one. He's like he's not the aggressor, but he's like I think he has like flirtatious side to him. And Demon gives me like a the youngest type. He seems like the youngest of the group, and he seems like the cocky one of the group. I think he's like the Michelangelo of the group. Or if you know the Madagascar, I think he's the youngest one. I feel like Ogron is like protective of Demon. That's just my head canon on the. And I also kind of like pair them with different Winx members. Like Ogron is obviously paired with Bloom because he's the red haired. They're both red haired. They're both leaders, and like Ogron is kind of like, has a rivalry with Bloom because like he can absorb like Bloom's attacks and throw it right back. And he's probably the most if he knew about Valtor and if he was linked with Valtor, he's probably the most distraught about it, and he's the most likely one to take revenge on Bloom. I pair off Gantlos with Misa because they both have sound powers. I wish we explored more of like Gantlos' powers, like he does sound abilities. That would have been cool. He also has Earthquake, which I find interesting too because, like, in season three finale, Raven had an Earth elemental, and this is just my weird way of connecting all three. I think Anagan with Flora, obviously, they have that moment in season four where, like, I think Anagan has a flirtation, is flirty with Flora. And I associate Demon with Stella because they both like dressing up. Like Demon, like he shapeshifts like I think Darcy, and Stella likes to dress up. So yeah, I pair them up with each other. Although one thing I will say, I don't mind all of the powers, but I think Anagan is the one that I'm like, what the hell? Like his power is super speed. I think that's really lame, considering like what I know about season four. They get speedix. I think like Anagan, his power is just underwhelming. Like he's just not threatening at all. Like but overall, I'm just obsessed with them. If it was me, I would have so many improvement. Like have them linked with Valtor. Like yeah, that would have been so cool. Anyway, the Wizard of the Black Circle were looking for Bloom. They encounter Flora. Flora, like wasn't going to give this up. Like, and the wizards were trying to look for Bloom. But they like use Flora as a rag doll. It's really sad seeing Flora being tortured like this. Like all the time, Flora gets abused all the time. Like Flora is not your pinata. Get it off. Anyway, from afar, Alice sees this, so she rushes into the library, to call out the other wings to get the wizards. And they eventually get out and they face the wizards of the Black Circle. This is a perfect opportunity for having the background fairies fight against them. Like, why is no one out there to fight the Wizard of the Black Circle? Like I remember, like scenes in like Army of the Darkness or in season 3 when there was zombie invasion, like these fairies would, they would fight back against these evil forces. Because they're not just random fairies, they're fairies of Althea. Are supposed to be strong. I find the battle of this bit like really underwhelming. They're supposed to be enchanted fairies. They're supposed to be strong. Like, why aren't we having an even match between the Winx and the Wizards? Like, we can't have the excuse like the Wizards are stronger than the fairies. Also, I would like to see like collateral damage, like how we've seen in like previous seasons. Like in season 1, with like, remember the battle in the magics with the tricks? I want to see that kind of battle here. Also, one thing I hate about this bit, like, Demon turns into like a wolf or thingy, and he is about to like annihilate Flora while she's down, but Alice comes to defend Flora. And what I hated about this part is like Bloom is like shouting, "No, don't fight!" Like, first of all, Alice needs to defend Flora. Like, do you want Flora dead, Bloom? And also, like, she's an Alfie fairy. Why can't she fight? Alice, transform and fight. Like, go for it. Like, why are we listening to Bloom? It's so sad, like how they turned Bloom into in this season. Like, I love Bloom. She's my number one girl. Like they're all number one girls for me. But like, they really made her seem like you got to listen to me because I'm a leader, or something like that. It, it's just that's just how I feel. I just think it's a poor writing, and I feel like um, if we had the Focus version, they would have improved this. So the boring fight continues. The Wizard of Black Circle and the Winx are fighting each other. The Winx fail miserably all the time, like even in the Enchantrix form. Yeah, we do get glimpses of Whiskers and Griselda coming out from the rooms, like they're wondering what's happening outside. At least someone's showing up. Like, why not get rest of the fairies? Like, let everyone fight the Wizard of the Black Circle, because that's what the fairies are meant for. Maybe Ogron should have put like a sleeping spell in the whole school. Maybe that could have explained why there aren't like fairies fighting against them. So the wizards do this convergence thing where they create a portal. They try to use it to suck Bloom, but the portal rejects her. They're looking for the last fairy from Earth, but shouldn't they know like Bloom isn't the fairy from Earth? She's from Domino. I'm pretty sure like this, the saving Domino is like a huge news across magical dimension. And how come from all those years they're now looking for the last Earth fairy? The timeline doesn't make sense in this whole show. And I also wonder if they're linked with like the ancestral witches, because if Valtor is a person who's like trying to take spells from other planets, maybe the Wizard of Black Circle were focusing mostly on Earth. So the wizards leave. They couldn't find what they were looking for. And in the next scene, apparently the Winxes lose their popularity for some reason. I don't get that. Like, yes, the Winx fail miserably, but why does that mean that they lose popularity? Like, shouldn't they know that the people who they're looking up to, like a celebrity, like, they're human too. Like, nobody's perfect. And it's important to know that like it's okay to make mistakes. That is something that should be presented by the Winx Club. And why are they disappointed on them? Like they should be disappointed on themselves for not helping. In the last part of this episode, Clarice opens up about what she did. She confesses, and she doesn't get expelled because Alice convinces Griselda not to expel her. I mean, if I was Alice and I found out that Clarice, one of my friends, got me in trouble, I wouldn't be friendly about this. Anyway, the Winx are off to learn about these wizards of the Black Circle. And finally, the episode ends. I guess that's it for this video. Time to share my favorite and my least favorite moments in this episode. My favorite moment of this episode is definitely seeing the Wizard of the Black Circle. I think they're so cool and interesting. And my least favorite thing about this episode, I guess I have been nitpicky about this episode in particular. It's just that, compared to the season that came before it, the quality has dropped so much. But then if I had to pick one thing that I did like the least out of this episode in particular, it would have to be mainly the puppet animation, especially whenever Layla's running up the stairs or the Winx fighting in with the wizards. Visually, it doesn't look striking. Anyway, if you like this, like, share, subscribe, and have a lovely day.